Straight Flow. First, we're going to get some introductions going on. And we have a special guest in the house tonight. And I'll let him introduce himself to y'all.
All right, now how y'all doing, man? My name is Otis J. Just a regular dude trying to do some extraordinary things out here. So I linked up with my boy Joe. He's got good ideas, and we have like minds, so I'm here to talk about it.
All right, man. So if people want to reach out to you and get in contact, like, what's a good way to get in contact with you?
Man, I'm mostly on IG, so oj.wordsmith. If you want to find me on Facebook, it's Otis Mr. Wordsmith James. But either way, just look me up. Interesting dude to follow, and we got some things cooking up for the future.
Hey, man, appreciate it, bro. Hey, I really appreciate you coming in. And what I like to tell our viewers today is this is a guy that I really respect. I like the way you handle things.
Appreciate it,
man. You come so real, but at the same time, I know your process and how you work. And that's something that I want to be able to bring to our viewers some value and some education and a different perspective on how we can look at things. Because from some of the combos that we have, I like the way that you think about things, and I want to share that and bring it to our audience.
For sure. All right. I'm with it, bro.
All right, we got Mr. Otis J in the house. Straight Flow. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and holler at Straight Flow and holler at Otis. So, one thing that I want people to understand, especially our young people, is what should goal setting look like? Because oftentimes I see people that start out, they have talent, they have potential, but they don't have a plan, they don't have goals. How important is that, and what should it look like?
I mean, it's extremely important, man. And I wish to be honest, I'd known the importance of it. Well, I knew the importance of it. I wish I had acted upon the importance of it early in my life. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like early 20s. I would say for a young person, it's paramount. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail, at the end of the day. And in terms of goal setting for a young person, the first thing that you want to understand is who you are. It's a really difficult journey, as a young person, finding out who you are, especially in this particular day and age where it's almost dictated to you who you should be and what you should pursue. Whether it be, our culture, you know what I mean, and sometimes the toxicity that comes with it because of what they show us of our culture, or whether it be, chasing a corporate dream when you have independent talent to do independent things, such as ownership. And I think that, with any goal, I think the ultimate goal should be, in the end, investing in yourself. So I would say first identifying your talents, your interests, and going from there in terms of building steps to move towards those things. And even if you have a regular 9-to-5 such as us, your 9-to-5 should be the money that you gain from that in some part should be moved towards, visualizing and then meeting your goals. And if it's not, essentially you're gonna waste your talent for your whole life working for somebody else. And I think that's a shame. I think that's definitely a shame for us, as young black people. I think that we don't understand and believe enough of our power and how much intellectual property, that is taken from us and utilized on a consistent basis. And until we understand that, and that particular concept and investing in ourselves and ownership, I think it would be problematic. But the first thing to get there is you have to have a plan and a roadmap. So I think short-term and long-term goals are important. I think setting incremental goals for yourself on the short term keeps you on pace and keeps you moving. I think long-term goals, even if they're healthy or lofty or even far-fetched, are healthy as well, because as you achieve those incremental goals, you build confidence, and you're obviously moving towards your ultimate goal or whatever that is. And so, you can't just have a long-term goal without, small steps in between. One, for that self-gratification and confidence, but two, just to make sure that you are attaining things, tangible things, moving yourself towards those goals.
Hey, I really love that perspective. So, is there ever a point that it's too young? Because now I try to teach my kids, you don't necessarily want to work for somebody. I'm trying to position them where they could work for themselves and do what they love. But sometimes I kind of get pushback from other people in the family saying, well, you're teaching them that it's not okay to work for somebody else, and they really can't see my perspective. So is any time really too young to start that?
Bro, I honestly don't believe it is. I think that's one of the disservices that we do in our community is not educating our kids enough. We rely on the system to educate our kids, but the system is the system. You know what I mean? And within that, there's some systemic things that drive us to a particular, place. I really believe in the prisoner pipeline, theory in terms of, getting our kids, in a particular mental place that they will be essentially controlled, for the rest of their lives, and that their ceiling is limited, based upon what they're given in the education system. While I believe in education, I also believe in self-education, and I think that, without that thing, you educating your children and giving them your perspective on life, explaining to them how to interpret the information that they're gathering from school, because it is important, but it's also important to know how to decipher. And I think that's our jobs as parents. If you happen to be in that lucky position to have a child, you have to arm them, especially our children. You have to arm them with knowledge. You have to arm them with inspiration. You have to arm them with just that overall sense of empowerment that should come just from being a person, one, and definitely from being a black person, especially in this society. It's of the utmost importance to educate your children, I feel. Now, do you want to send your kids out into the world being militant? Obviously not.
Like
you
little
do,
militants.
yeah, but you do want to send them out armed with information,
Yeah.
And I think that as your kids get older, you can introduce more and more diverse concepts to your children, in terms of how to think and how to navigate society, with proficiency. And, in order for them to actually achieve what I would call, realistic, tangible goals, other than just having a job at a 9-to-5, which is nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that at all. But I think that there's nothing wrong with appreciating your position while plotting your promotion, or in this particular case, plotting your ownership.
Wow. It's real talk. I like that philosophy.